Uy, sino siya? Ang lakas ng dating, ang lakas ng dating, ang lakas ng ganyan. Uy, sino siya?
Okay, so anyway, what I want to talk about today is about the people that claim to be the Hebrew Israelites. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know I am an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't believe in the fucking Bible book. I don't believe in the goddamn trashy ass Quran. I don't believe in any of that stuff. So the thing is that when people are talking about, oh, they're Hebrew Israelites and they're black folk. Okay, first of all, black folk, that is a fairy tale book. The Bible book is a fairy tale book. It's an old ass book that was a fairy tale. You running around chasing a fairy tale saying that you're a Hebrew Israelite. Fuck that book. Okay, really, honestly and truly, that book is a waste of time. And anyway, saying that you are the descendant of Moses and all this stuff. First of all, who's to say that that person really even existed? He could have been a cartoon character from a fairy tale book. I mean, there's no evidence exactly that there was a man named Moses. Okay, so you say, well, you're related to Moses. Or then you start saying, well, they were punished for 300 years of slavery. It's them. It's them. It doesn't matter. It's just a fairy tale book. That's it. Black people are running around lately. I mean, if they're not they claim to be the Native Americans. Then they claim to be the ancient Egyptians. Then they claim to be the Hebrew Israelites. The Hebrew Israelites? Okay. And then they just, I mean, it's just like all over the place. The only thing they don't say they're African American. They say that they're anything else. So many people that I meet in the street, they're like, they're the Hebrew Israelites. They are following Moses. They are the chosen people. Well, if your God loved you so goddamn much, then why are you the most poor people on the fucking planet? If your God said, oh, you're the chosen people, you're the Hebrew Israelites, wouldn't he be showing you love? But there's nothing there. I mean, it's just like ridiculous. Okay, let's say, okay, they're saying that they're the Hebrew Israelites. Who in the fuck are the Hebrew Israelites? Okay, that book originated from the Middle East. So you're still black, regardless. I mean, you're still black. Being, either if you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, even if you call yourself an African American, you're still black. What the fuck is so wrong with saying that you are the descendant of a slave? Look, my name is Florida Pie 08. I know goddamn well that the black people that I descended from most likely were slaves in America from West Africa, Central Africa, and Congo. I mean, come on. It's not that big of a deal. If you come from America, most likely you are the descendant of a slave. It's not that difficult to understand or to appreciate. I'm going to tell you my thoughts on slavery, and you'll see that I have a positive attitude about the slave trade. Okay, it's not anything where you could say, oh, that's so bad. I mean, it was bad, but I'll just brief you on it. The African slaves, they were very noble people. They worked hard and they did it for free. And we got this great country, the United States of America, to thank to them. There's no reason to be ashamed of them. There's no reason to knock them or to diss them or to try to forget about them or to try to change who they were. If you are American black and you are not a recent immigrant, then you are not a Hebrew Israelite, you're not an Egyptian, and you're not a Native American. Now, when I talk about the Nubians are a black people, but you're not related to the Nubians in Egypt. I've spoke about this maybe 3 or 4 times. Let me tell you something. Imagine a Frenchman trying to claim the history of Britain, okay, or an Italian man trying to claim the history of France. They're all white people, but they're not the same. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, like, Egyptians some of them were Nubians, but most likely those Nubians were most likely slaves. And the white people were most likely the Berbers. So let's not make this another Egyptian video. Let's talk about the Hebrew Israelites. There was this one chick, she was on the YouTube, and what she was saying was like, it was something like, the title of the video is Stop Claiming Egypt. So I'm like, hell yeah, let me click on this girl and see what she's talking about. Lo and behold, the girl was a religious nut. She was talking about Hebrew Israelites, talking about Moses, talking about the Bible book. Girl, that book is a fairy tale book. If you want to sit up there and believe something from 1,000-year-old fairy tale book with no proof whatsoever that the characters actually exist, it's ridiculous. The characters are not proven to be real, and even if they were real, it doesn't mean that your ass is a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, so let me say this to the black folk that want to claim Hebrew Israelite. Okay, go ahead and claim Hebrew Israelite. Go ahead and claim that stupid shit. But at the end of the day, you still got a black face, you still got a black nose, you still got black beady eyes, you still got black mouth, you still got a black jawbone, you still got kinky hair, you still look black. So at the end of the day, you still look like a black folk. And most likely nobody in their right mind is going to walk up to you and say, hey, are you the descendant of Moses? There's nothing wrong with being a black folk. Nothing wrong with being a black folk. If you're a black folk, you just black. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people that do have a problem with it, like police and stuff that have police brutality. I'm not with that. Nothing wrong with being a beautiful black person of African ancestry from slavery. You can be a beautiful black person and say, hey, when I used to live in Australia, people used to think that I was from Fiji or Sri Lanka and stuff like that. Why? Because it was in the South Pacific, and those the only dark-skinned people are from those places. Indonesia. People used to think I was Indonesian, East Timorese, Fijian, Sri Lankan, and that type of thing. And I used to tell them, no, I descended from Africa, and that my ancestors were slaves. And they would say, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And I would just say, yeah. Because I would say, no, I'm of African ancestry. And then they would say, oh, well, what part of Africa? And I would say, I really don't know. I'm sorry, I can't give you a specific. I don't speak the language of Africa. Africa is the continent, not a country, but I don't speak any African languages. And personally, I'm not really with the whole Afrocentric. I'm not Afrocentric. As you can see, I bleach my skin. I lighten my eyes. I lighten my hair. I wear wigs. I'm not Afrocentric. So whatever. I just like to be a person of color of American background, because I'm not an Afrocentric person. There's no need in me trying to lie about it. I'm not Afrocentric. If you are Afrocentric, that's great, but I'm not Afrocentric. So anyway, I don't try to find out anything about, I don't try to find out anything about Africa. Okay, so anyway, I'm back on the camera. What happened was my camera dropped, and then I got a phone call, and then I couldn't continue to record. So I want to edit this when I get home. So I just want to already just have it already ready to edit. But anyway, let me say this. Okay, when I was saying at the end of the video, at the end of that little clip, I was saying that I was not so into African history. I'm really not, to be honest with you. I'm a person of color, but I'm the type of person where I am very Eurocentric. What I mean by Eurocentric is that I follow the mainstream white media's way of defining beauty. Like, I lighten my skin, I got a nose job, I lighten my eyes, I lighten my hair, I wear wigs. I pretty much follow the mainstream media, or the westernized idea of beauty. I pretty much follow that. Now, don't start knocking me. Please do not start knocking me for admitting that, because I'm a truther. I like to tell the truth. And if you're a young lady with a weave on or wearing a wig, you're Eurocentric. You might think that you're Afrocentric, but you're Eurocentric. For one thing, the hair that you have on top of your head might be Brazilian Remy, might be Peruvian Remy, might be from the Philippines, might be from Russia. You are wearing another woman's hair on top of your head from another race. And if you sit there with that fake hair on top of your head, and then you sit there and say, oh, you're Afrocentric and you got on another woman's hair from another race. Come on now. Now, if you got on a woman's hair from the Philippines, I hate to tell you, but you are trying to be Filipino. You might feel like you're Afrocentric inside, but you are wearing someone else's hair from another race. So that means that you like the way that other race looks, and you're trying to emulate it. At least I got the courage to be here and be honest with you. I'm not gonna sit up here with fake hair on my head, fake ass eyes, nose job, skin bleach, and I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, oh, black power, Afrocentric, pro-black. I'm not gonna sit up here with bleached skin, light eyes, weave a wig on top of my head, and sit up here and say I'm Afrocentric, because I'm not. I'm really not. I'm Eurocentric. And if you lighten your eyes, if you got fake hair, and if you chemically process your hair to look like a European's hair, which you still don't, but you know what I'm saying, it looks more European than what you genetically have. If you straighten your hair, let's take it from the top. If you chemically straighten your hair, or to make it curly or straight instead of kinky and nappy, you are following the Eurocentric lifestyle. You are trying to look more Eurocentric. If you lighten your skin, then you really are trying to look Eurocentric. If you put a wig on top of your hair, now this is synthetic, but it's emulating a white woman's hair. Okay, I got the wig on, then I'm trying to be Eurocentric. Okay, I got my nose done to get it a nice point. Okay, I'm following the Eurocentric. So don't sit up here and start saying, oh, you're trying to be white. So are you. Okay, but you won't admit it though. You won't admit it. You'll run around and sit up here and say you're the Hebrew Isralites, that you're the fake ass Egyptians, that you're the Native Americans, and then you'll sit up here and try to knock me for bleaching my skin. Baby, I'll admit it all day long. I'm Eurocentric. I'm a Eurocentric person of color. I'm Eurocentric to the max. Okay, why? Because I follow that trend, because I actually think that is a beautiful look. Believe it or not. You might say, hell no, they don't got a good look. Okay, well then, why are you wearing that wig then? Why are you wearing a weave then? Why are you putting a perm, chemical, S-curl, perm, Jerry curl, whatever you got going on? I don't even think people wear Jerry curls anymore. But you know what I mean. I'm talking about the men, because the men wear S-curls, not women. I don't know a single woman in my entire life who ever wore S-curl. I've only known black guys from the hood with S-curls. I don't even think they still do the S-curl. I don't know. Can somebody tell me if they do the S-curl? But yeah, I'm following the Eurocentric way of life. Why? Because it's pretty to me. That's all. That's all it is. It's not a sin. I'm not a religious folk either. I'm not no religious nut. I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in neither one of those things. So I'm not a religious fanatic. So even if it was a sin, I still wouldn't give a fuck about it. So yeah, stop lying to yourself. I'm gonna do a whole video about Eurocentric versus Afrocentric. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do a whole now you could be pro-black and be Eurocentric too. You could be pro-black. I believe in that. Like, you could be pro-black and be Eurocentric. You could still be for the black cause. You could still be for bettering the black race. You could still be for saying, okay, I want black empowerment. You could still be for improving the black neighborhoods. You could still be for making the black race more intelligent. You could still be for promoting black businesses. You could be the type that helps out black charities in Africa. You could be all that. You could be all that. You could be pro-black and still be Eurocentric. But don't be pro-black and then be what was I gonna say? Oh, I was about to say there's something that didn't make sense. Don't be pro-black and Afrocentric. That doesn't make sense. So because you can be pro-black and Afrocentric. You could be pro-black and Eurocentric. But you got to know where you fall in. You know where you fall at. Are you pro-black and Afrocentric? Are you pro-black and Eurocentric? Are you pro-black and just pro-black? I don't know. It's up to you. Everybody got their own life. Everybody got their own explanations for things. Everybody got their own. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not no Afrocentric. I don't wear no afro. I don't embrace the darkness of my eyes. I don't embrace dark skin on me. I'm not Afrocentric, baby. I'm just not. I mean, I'm Eurocentric. I got a Eurocentric mind. I can't help it. I really can't. I really can't do nothing about it. The only thing that makes me happy is seeing myself in a lighter hue. When I see myself with a lighter skin tone, when I see myself with lighter eyes, when I see myself with lighter hair, I feel happy. That's just the way it is. Okay? So anyway, like I was saying about the Hebrew Israelites, please, you still gonna look black as hell. Hebrew Israelite, you still gonna have those dark eyes, beady eyes, those small African eyes. You gonna still have that big ass nose. You gonna still have that big ass mouth. You still gonna have those African gappy ass teeth. You still gonna have that kinky ass hair. You still gonna have that dark skin. You still gonna have all that. So it doesn't matter if you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite or African American. What difference does it make? You still gonna look the goddamn same. So why are you running around talking about Hebrew Israelite? Hebrew Israelite, whatever. Nobody gonna give a fuck about that. Nobody, no census report. And even if you did put Hebrew Israelite, nobody would count. You would just be fucking up the census. You would just be fucking up the census because you need like a certain amount of people to be in a certain amount of neighborhood to get grants and all kinds of different things. So you would have to you shouldn't be putting Hebrew Israelite on racial demographic forms. I mean, if you are doing that, if you're going that far with it. But anyway, yeah, fuck that. I don't believe in Hebrew Israelite. I don't believe in none of that stuff. Hebrew Israelite, my ass. You're African American. Be proud of it. Be proud. Even if you are Afrocentric African American, be proud of your Afrocentric African American looks and ways. Be proud of your African American culture. Be proud of your African American history. Be proud of George Washington Carver. He created the peanut. Somebody tried to compare George Washington Carver with, my eyes are watering because it's so hot out here. Somebody tried to compare George Washington Carver with Henry Ford. No offense, George Washington Carver was a great guy. He really was. He was a great guy. He was a great inventor. But honey, you can't compare somebody that invented some smashed up peanuts with somebody beating on a peanut with a hammer and said, oh, it's paste, it's peanut butter, and mixing it with some sugar and some different things. You can't compare a chef with someone who created a goddamn car. Somebody that created that put America on wheels. You can't compare those two. Please stop. Please stop. George Washington Carver was a great. They even said George Washington Carver had to help Ford. I said, please. George Washington Carver may have been friends with Henry Ford, but I highly doubt. I highly doubt that he had to help Henry Ford with making a car. Please don't make things up. I told somebody in my family, I said, oh, they said that George Washington Carver had to help Henry Ford, and she said maybe to make some peanut oil to oil his engine. But other than that, no. So stop trying to be a Hebrew Israelite. I mean, seriously. Be proud of your African American, because I'm not an Afrocentric, and I'm gonna tell you this again and again. I'm not an Afrocentric, but I believe that being an African American is something to be proud of. You know what? When I lived in Australia and I lived in England, there would be so many Africans that would be lying and saying that they were African American. I'd be looking at them and like, yeah, right. I'd be like, where are you from? They're like, New York. And they did not. No, let me tell you something. African Americans, you know who African Americans look like? African Americans look like Nigerians. That because somebody contacted me and said, oh, African Americans don't look like Africans. Yes, they do. African Americans look like West African Nigerians. That's what they look like. They look like Igbos. It's a tribe of Nigerians, and they are like a brownish, dark brown to black skinned, and African Americans look just like Igbos. I done seen so many Igbos in my life, Igbo Nigerians, and they look just like African Americans. They look just like African Americans. So that's why I know African Americans are not no Hebrew Israelites. They're damn sure not no ancient Egyptian. They don't belong to the Nubian tribe. Damn sure not that, because Nubians are some beautiful people, and Nubians don't look nothing like no African Americans, period. Okay, I done been in Egypt so many times, and let me tell you, no, please stop with that Egyptian stuff. Please stop. You are making a fool of yourself if you talk about that Egyptian stuff, because you are not no goddamn Nubian. Okay, you are probably an Igbo, Congo, Ghana, that type of look. Black people be looking like the blacks from West Africa, Congolese, and they be looking Igbo out. You be looking like a Igbo. You Hebrew Israelite wannabe. You look like a fucking Igbo Nigerian. Please.